Hi, I'm Lisa, your rock and roll realtor, and I usually talk property in these videos, but today I want to talk about painting cars because you have to actually show up in a presentable car if you're going on a listing appointment, or perhaps you're doing an open house and your car's parked out front. You can't have a wreck, right? So I have taken my 1993 BMW that I had since new, and I'm giving it a facelift. Now I do have other cars, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of roll up at my next listing in a classic car, because apparently 1993 is considered classic now. So I actually went to a shop down the street that sells car paints, and I talked to the salesman there, Robert, who owns the business, and he's given me a step-by-step process on how to actually paint the car myself. All right, so I do have help. I am doing part of the work myself, and the other part is going to be done by Steven, who is there with his mask and his outfit on, his painting outfit. So we set up the tent, and we've followed steps 1 to about 10 so far. We're on the last couple, but before I get to the final steps, I want to show you the videos in case you thought of painting your own car. Here's the process. Let's go check in with Robert in Highland Park. Tell us what we need to paint the car.
Okay, first of all, you're gonna prep the car with a 220 wet and dry sandpaper, the whole vehicle. Okay. Prior to putting the primer. Of course, you're gonna wash the vehicle after you finish with the primer because you know it's contaminated. You wash it like a regular car and make sure it's thoroughly dry. Once it's thoroughly dry, you mix the primer with a special little hardener it comes with. We have MAKP, which is actually what activates the polyester primer. So I'm going to make it simple for you. Each one of these tubes activates a half a gallon of the primer. Okay. So if you're going to do a quart at a time, obviously half the amount, that's one of these. Right?
Alrighty.
That's easy?
Very simple. Okay. The hardest part is spraying it. No, you should be able to handle it. Okay. And so as long as you prepped it with 220, like I said, you lay on the primer and one coat and give it a flash time. Flash time meaning time dries between the second coat. Okay.
How much time?
You give it about approximately like 10 minutes. But by the time you do one side, by the time you come back to the other side, you'll be ready to put it on.
You don't need like a couple hours?
No.
Okay.
It's relatively pretty fast.
Okay.
So it's not that bad. You know, you can take a little longer if you want. You want it thoroughly dry. You know, you can take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then put a second coat. Once you put whatever 2 coats or what's 1 coat, whatever it is, once you do that, then you let it dry for a few hours. But if you want to be safe, you can do it the next day. And then after you do that, then you want to sand it with a 600 wet and dry.
600 wet and dry.
And I recommend using a pad for this. It's a wet and dry pad. And you cut the sheet in half. When you cut the sheet in half, you'll have 2 5x9s.
Do you have one of those already, Steven?
The only reason, because this is concave here, as you're sanding, you're gonna get as much surface there besides the heat up when you're sanding. I hate it, and you put a little bit of dishwashing soap in the bucket of water, just not a lot, not make it a sudsy, just to make it slippery, so that when you're sanding, it doesn't get stuck on you. It lubricates it and adds in the sanding. And usually, what I do, I get the edge here, like so. Fold it around, and with the round sides, both sides, the bottom, because I don't want to do this. Sometimes this curls and you start creating the lines, right? So it's better this way. And you just go one direction. Don't go in circles, just one direction until it gets slick and nice and smooth. And it's gonna be a little messy. You can see all the black coming out of the primer, and you wash it again, and you're ready to paint.
Ready to paint.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Stuff.
Preparation is key. Cleanliness is also very, very important. You don't want dust particles landing on the fresh paint. It'll cause all sorts of problems. So we have everything masked. We have a tent. We have a guy dancing in the background. And we're almost there. We have just the color to put on now, and then the clear coat. And then we're done, and I'll show you the finished product.
Okay. So once it's prepped really nice, then make sure it's all dry, really clean, and you're ready to roll. Well, what I do is like surgery. What I do, I use a prep cleaner, a pre-paint cleaner. It comes in aerosol in a can. You spray it, and with a clean cloth, old t-shirt cloth or what have you, spray it, you wipe it down section by section because it evaporates real quick.
And that's
That's
after
right
the
after you
600.
after you sanded it and washed it and it dried.
Washed it, then-
Right
so,
before
okay,
you paint.
you've done the
Right
600.
before you
Okay,
paint.
just before you paint. Got it. Okay.
Because you don't want to contaminate hitting it, causing
Right,
fish eye.
right.
Okay. So once you spray that aerosol, by the way, the aerosol costs $15.
Okay.
So you spray it and right away because it evaporates right away. Because you don't what's so used to spraying it and the contaminants are drying back on again. So the thing is wipe it and spray and wipe it right away to remove. And then
How many
constantly-
cans do you need for the whole car?
Just one.
Oh, okay,
Just one.
cool.
One
Yeah.
stuff, So once you get that, and then you start painting. So basically, this is water-based paint. It's alcohol-based paint. Some kind of hybrid between a solvent and what have you. It goes a long ways. It's user-friendly, especially in metallics, which your colors are metallic. Okay. It tends not to give you streaks because most people are novice, including myself in a large car. It happened to be for the solvent. There's tiger stripes or zebras all over the place, and I don't think you like a car safari looking. Okay?
No safari.
No. So the water-based is friendly, although it's more expensive, but it's friendly, user-friendly, because it's water evaporant. This is key. Okay? I'm gonna pre-mix the color for you. Instead of you monkeying around with that, make it easier for you. Instead of turning to almost a gallon, a half gallon turns to maybe 7/8 of a gallon. Okay. Anytime you get the paint, no matter what, physics takes over. Pigment settle.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure you stir it
Mm-hmm.
before you paint. Okay, very important because you're gonna have some dark light spots if you don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, very important.
So every time.
Once you establish that, okay, you pour in a gun, use a strainer, just in case any contaminants might fly in, whatever. You shouldn't, but strain the paint into your cup. It's pre-mixed already. And it's kind of frothy, kind of like malty looking, like a malt. Don't worry about it. And you want to go one direction, whatever direction you start off. If you go vertical or horizontal, you want to keep that direction until you cover the whole panel or area. And then what's important after you finish doing that, very important, get a fan or buy one of those fans, those cheapy fans, regular portable fans, cheapy ones and plastic ones, to blow air on it because we need air movement to let it dry.
Okay.
Because you can get it with solvent because solvent just solvent evaporates, that's it. But this one's air. We need air movement. So you put some air on the surface where you paint it until it gets matted. Once it's matted, you can turn off the fan and go with the second coat until you cover. Don't go one coat is wet, another coat, no. It's like, it's like cooking something, the outside is cooked but the inside raw. Same thing will happen with this. You want thoroughly flash. That's called flash.
So how long between?
Well, I would say I might take 5 minutes, with the air flowing.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's
so
not
it can be matted. It might take long. Depends on the temperature, humidity.
Right.
Okay, like the day, like it's warm, 5 minutes easily. So
Okay.
once you have air movement, it dries matted. Once it dries matted, guess what? You're in for the second coat. It might take 2 or 3 coats.
Okay.
We don't know for the covers. You get 2 or 3rd coat, Once you finish the last coat with all, whatever you paint the whole car, once you finish with that, you allow it to dry 1/2 hour before applying the clear coat. Okay?
Okay.
Very important. And right before you're gonna put the clear coat, you mix it at 4:1 at a 4:1 ratio. You want to get a tack cloth. Now, why a tack cloth? Because when we spray, we obviously get a lot of little overspray. You know, it settles on the rest of the car. So what this does, it ensures a clean job. Now this, you just lightly go over it lightly. Not you don't put any pressure whatsoever, because then you cut filaments and stuff on it. So just lightly go like a baby's butt, whatever, just real nice and fine. And you'll see the green color on this tack cloth.
Okay.
So you clean all that.
So you have to use that tack cloth on the whole car?
Right before you put the clear.
Right before the clear, okay.
Okay?
How many of those would we need? Just one?
Just one.
Oh.
You try not to handle it with your fingers because we have oils in our fingers.
Oil and grease.
And if you do that, guess what? You're going to have a birthmark there. It is.
That's right.
So, just handle it with care.
Handle
Okay.
with care.
Okay? It's like surgery.
Okay, wait. So, we got that. So we are on the last day of painting. As you can see, there are about 3 or so coats of the green. We're gonna do a couple more, and then we're gonna get to the clear coat. Now, that isn't the green that I thought it was gonna be, so I ordered the original green from the car, 1993 BMW 5 Series. It was called Island Green, and we ordered it direct from BMW, and it just looks so much darker than it should be. But then again, once the clear coat comes on, it might look different. So let's see. So far, it looks classy. There's a few parts where we're sanding that have a little drips. We're gonna go over those. And then a few coats of clear coat and we're good to go. But I'll show you along the way.
So here we go with the clear now.
Yes, clear.
And this is what I had said earlier, but
Yeah.
documented here. The ratio on the clear is a 4:1 ratio.
Okay, 4 to 1, got it.
Typically, there's some that are 3 to 1, 2 to 1. But in this case, we're going to give you a reasonable, decent clear, which is going to be 4 to 1, meaning
It's already pre-mixed though.
not exactly. This is 4 to 1. This is the way that I make it real simple.
Okay,
I make it very easy.
okay.
That means you have a whole gallon, which is 4 quarts,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 quart is 25%. It's 4 to 1
Okay,
of activator. Okay?
okay.
Real simple. I do have containers that give you a ratio already made. Once you mix the clear with a hardener, you have a pot life of probably about an hour. Depends on the temperature, humidity, an hour and a half before it starts getting thick and active because it's an activator. It's a 2K clear. In your gun, make sure you're not putting an exuberant amount of air pressure where it's going all over the place. You want it to go. Okay. If you're like too much, you're using too much material, and you're gonna overspray all over the place on the car. Okay. Just enough where it goes. Not low pressure either, where it's gonna cause ridges either. Just enough to get it atomized. Okay. And as you put your clear on it, once you put 1 coat, like I said,
And it's all one direction.
in one direction,
Okay,
and it doesn't make if you want to come this way if you want, but it doesn't make it clear has no pigment in it. So
right.
as long as you overlap 1/3 in the next coat, okay? Once you put a coat, this is what I do. I put 1 coat, and then I put all the way through the whole panel, all the way to the end. You don't go like this. Go like this, straight out. Because you go like this, then you put in less on the material. So go straight out like this. And once you do that, they come back with air. They come with the first part of the trigger is air. And just keep on blowing air on it, just in case it wants to sag or whatever. You don't want that.
Okay,
And then
so
once
one,
that-
one coat
One
of
coat
clear and then air.
Yeah, put some air on it.
and
just
then
a
you
little bit of air.
overlap and then
And
more
then
air.
next one with overlap with the clear again. Another as you're coming down.
Okay.
Same procedure. Air. Then come down. Same thing. The airs prevent any sagging, just in case. Okay. Now, when you put the first coat of clear, you're creating like I said, like a microscopic webbing. And what you want to do is that you kind of relatively fast, because that's like a webbing. That's all it is. You can go like this, like that. Okay. Once you coated the whole car, you want to wait 10 minutes. By the time you come back around, that area is probably 10, 15 minutes away. Then you're ready for the second coat. Second coat's a little slower because you remember, very important. If you're painting the clear and the trail's real wet looking, guess what? It's gonna stay wet again. But it runs the risk of it dripping if you put too much. Okay? So just at the threshold where it's gonna drip, but right enough, and then you just real nice, slow, glossy, and then come back with the air, especially really important, especially the second one.
Come back with air fast.
Yeah, because you don't want it to drip because it's a little heavier, it's real glossy.
Okay.
Same procedure, overlap, just a little slower, just slightly slower. Now, if you see you're going too fast, you can see it's gonna come out kind of like a little glossy, but not as wet.
Yeah.
You want it wet looking.
Okay.
Now, if you're concerned about the orange peel, you can put a reducer, but you run the risk is very high to drip on you, unless you have experience. If you can get 3 coats, be great. If you get 2 coats, because what happens if you're gonna color sand it, you probably take 1 clear coat, 1 layer out of it. So I recommend 3 coats. You should be able enough. Yeah. And then,
So we do we sand it in between the layers?
No.
Okay, so 3 layers. At the end of 3 layers, are we sanding it at that point or no?
if you're happy with the way it looks,
If you're happy with the way it looks, you leave it.
leave it
We
alone.
don't touch it again.
If it's full of orange peel, then you've got to sand it.
Then we
and
come
do it.
back in and
Or
we yell at Robert.
let's say Fly decided to ski on your,
Okay.
then you say, well, okay, leave it alone. A lot of times if
Okay.
a bug lands on there, get your tweezers, steady hand,
And just
pick them up.
okay.
If you don't want to go digging, and you can make a.
Yeah.
So just
Be
in
careful.
case, because that happens.
Yeah,
Debris,
okay.
whatever,
Yeah.
okay. Other than that, you get little things, little dust, whatever. You can always color sand it. But if you're happy with the finish,
Then we're done.
You're done. You're said and done.
Oh my gosh. And finally, after all of those weeks and days and maybe even months of hard work, we finally have my 1993 green BMW painted. And with the gloss and everything, it's all shiny. It looks great. Let's have a look at the finished product.